Welcome to my channel, Bookish English. Dear learners, I am Ariel, and today we are going to learn something very powerful. Something that can finally change the way you speak English. Let me ask you something honestly. Do you understand English? But when it's your turn to speak, your voice slows down or stops. If yes, then stay with me, because this lesson is made for you. Today, I promise you this. By the end of this video, you will not just understand why you feel stuck, you will actually feel your English move. You will speak with me, you will train your voice, and you will experience what real speaking practice feels like. You will leave this video with more confidence, faster thinking, and a clear method you can use every day. But there is one condition. You must not stay silent. You must use your voice with me, because if you only watch, nothing changes. But if you speak today, your journey truly begins. Comment now. I will speak today. Lesson 1. Your mouth is silent. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to your English journey. Before we begin anything today, I want you to be completely honest with yourself for a moment. You understand English, don't you? You watch videos, you listen to conversations, you read sentences, and inside your mind, everything feels clear. You know what people are saying. You even know what you want to say. But when the moment comes to speak, something strange happens. Your mind slows down, your mouth hesitates, your voice feels stuck, and the sentence that was so clear in your head suddenly disappears. You feel that small pressure in your chest, that uncomfortable silence, that moment where you wish you could just speak naturally like others do, but your mouth does not cooperate. If you have ever felt this, then this lesson is not just for you. This lesson is about you. Let me tell you something very important, something that most learners never hear clearly. Your English is not weak. Your problem is not that you don't know enough. Your problem is that your English is trapped inside your head. You have built knowledge, but you have not trained your voice. You have filled your brain with words, but your mouth has not learned how to use them naturally. This is why you feel slow. This is why you feel nervous. This is why even simple sentences feel difficult in real conversations. It is not because you are bad at English. It is because your speaking system has never been trained properly. Think about your journey honestly. How many hours have you spent listening to English, watching videos, scrolling through lessons, reading subtitles, learning vocabulary, studying grammar rules? You have done all of that. You have invested time. You have tried. But how many hours have you spent actually speaking out loud, using your voice, training your mouth, repeating sentences again and again until they feel natural? This is where the real difference begins. Most learners live in silent practice. They become excellent listeners. But silent speakers, their ears become sharp, but their voice stays weak. And this is where frustration begins to grow quietly. You start comparing yourself to others. You start thinking, maybe they are more talented. Maybe they are smarter. Maybe they have something that you don't have. But the truth is much simpler than that. And once you understand it, everything changes. Speaking English is not just a mental skill. It is also a physical skill. Your mouth, your tongue, your lips, your breath, your voice, all of these need training. Just like a muscle needs repetition to grow stronger, your speaking ability needs repetition to become natural. Imagine someone who watches exercise videos every day. They understand every movement, every technique, every instruction. They know exactly what to do, but they never move their body. They never practice. Do you think their body will become strong? Of course not. The same thing is happening with your English. You understand everything, but your speaking muscles are not trained. And because they are not trained, your mouth feels slow, your sentences feel broken, and your confidence starts to disappear. Now I want you to see your situation in a different way. Instead of saying, I cannot speak English, start saying, my speaking muscles are not trained yet. This small shift changes everything, because now your problem has a solution. And that solution is not more grammar, not more vocabulary, not more silent learning. The solution is voice training. The solution is repetition. The solution is speaking practice that connects your brain and your mouth together. Let me ask you another question. Have you ever noticed that when you try to speak English, you think too much? You try to build perfect sentences. You search for the right word. You worry about grammar. You try to sound correct. And while you are thinking, the moment passes. The conversation moves forward, and you stay silent. This is one of the biggest traps. You are trying to speak perfectly instead of speaking naturally. But natural speaking does not come from thinking. It comes from training. Fluent speakers do not build every sentence from zero. They use patterns. They use sentence memory. They use rhythm. Their mouth already knows what to do because they have repeated those patterns many times before. That is why they can speak faster. That is why they sound smooth. That is why they feel confident. And this is exactly what you are going to build. Today is not just another lesson. Today is the moment where you stop blaming yourself and start understanding your real problem. You are not stuck. You're just untrained in the right way. And once you start training your voice, you will begin to feel something new. At first, it will feel a little strange. Your mouth will feel unfamiliar with English movement. Your voice may sound different. But slowly, with repetition, something powerful will happen. Your mouth will start to remember. Your sentences will start to flow. Your confidence will start to grow. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine that someone asks you a simple question in English, and instead of freezing, instead of overthinking, instead of searching for words, you respond naturally. Your voice is calm. Your sentence is clear. You are not perfect, but you are speaking. That feeling, that small moment of success, that is what we are building together. And the best part is this. You do not need hours every day. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need to be in a classroom. You just need your voice, your attention, and the right method. In the next lessons, I will show you exactly how to train your speaking, using a method that connects listening and speaking together in a powerful way. A method that removes hesitation, reduces translation, and builds natural flow. A method that many learners ignore, but those who use it correctly experience real change. So right now, I want you to make a small decision. Not a big promise, not a perfect plan, just a small decision. You will stop being a silent learner. You will start using your voice. You will give yourself permission to speak, even if it feels uncomfortable. even if it feels slow at the beginning. Because that is how growth begins. I see. Take a deep breath. Relax your shoulders. And tell yourself honestly, my English is not weak. My voice is just waking up. Lesson 2. Listening is not speaking. Now I want you to look at your learning in a very honest and simple way. You have been learning English for a long time. Maybe months, maybe years. And during that time, you have done something that feels productive, something that feels safe, something that feels comfortable. You have been listening. You have been watching videos, reading subtitles, following lessons, and understanding more and more every day. And slowly, without realizing it, you built a quiet confidence inside your mind. You started to feel, yes, I understand English. But then something happens that breaks this feeling. Someone asks you a question, or you try to speak, and suddenly everything feels different. Your understanding is there, but your voice is not. Your mind is full, but your mouth is empty. And that is the moment where confusion begins. This is the truth that most learners do not accept early enough. Listening is not speaking. Understanding is not fluency. Watching English is not the same as using English. You can spend hours every day listening to English and still feel stuck when it is time to speak. And this is not your fault. It happens because passive learning gives you knowledge, but it does not give you control. You are building recognition, not production. You can recognize words when you hear them, but you cannot produce them quickly when you need them. Think about how you usually practice. You sit and watch a video. You listen carefully. You understand most of it. You feel good because you understand. But your mouth is closed. Your voice is silent. Your body is not involved. And because your body is not involved, your speaking system is not activated. Your brain becomes very good at understanding patterns, but your mouth does not learn how to move with those patterns. So when you try to speak, your brain sends a signal, but your mouth does not respond smoothly. It hesitates, it slows down, it searches, and sometimes it stops completely. This is why so many learners say something that sounds familiar. They say, I understand English, but I cannot speak. And this sentence is not a mystery. It is simply the result of one type of practice. If you only train your ears will become strong. If you only train your eyes, your reading will improve. But if you do not train your voice, your speaking will remain weak. It is not about intelligence. It is about training balance. Let me explain this in a very simple and real way. Imagine you are learning to play the piano. Every day, you watch videos of people playing beautiful music. You understand the notes. You can even imagine the sound in your head. But you never touch the piano. You never press the keys. Do you think your fingers will learn to move naturally? Do you think you will play music smoothly? Of course not. Watching is not doing. Understanding is not performing. And this is exactly what is happening with your English speaking. There is also another hidden problem inside passive learning, and it is very important to understand. When you only listen and do not speak, your brain becomes comfortable with delay. It takes its time. It listens. It processes. It understands slowly. But real conversation does not give you that time. Real conversation moves fast. People speak, they expect a response, and that response needs to come quickly. If your brain is trained only to understand slowly, it cannot suddenly become fast when you need it to. This is why your mind feels blank in conversation. It is not blank because you do not know the words. It feels blank because your brain is not trained to respond quickly. And here is the psychological truth that changes everything. If you keep learning silently, your English will stay silent. This is not a punishment. This is simply how learning works. Your brain improves the skills you use. If you use listening, you improve listening. If you use speaking, you improve speaking. So if you want to speak, you must practice speaking. Not sometimes, not rarely, but regularly, actively, and with intention. Now I want you to think about something deeper. Why do learners stay in passive learning for so long? Because it feels safe. When you listen, there is no pressure. There is no mistake. There is no judgment. You can sit quietly and feel progress. But speaking is different. Speaking feels uncomfortable. It feels risky. You might make mistakes. You might feel slow. You might feel embarrassed. And because of that feeling, many learners avoid it without even realizing it. They tell themselves, I will speak when I am ready. But readiness does not come from waiting. Readiness comes from practice. So the real question is not, do you understand English? The real question is, are you training your voice? Because your voice is the bridge between your knowledge and your fluency. Without using your voice, your English will always stay inside your head. And with using your voice, even simple sentences can start to feel natural and alive. This is where everything begins to change. You do not need to stop listening. Listening is still important. But now you understand that listening alone is not enough. You need something that connects listening and speaking together. You need a method that forces your mouth to move while your brain is listening. You need a way to remove delay and build speed at the same time. You need a system that turns passive learning into active speaking. And that is exactly what we are going to build in the next lesson. There is a method that takes listening and turns it into speaking practice instantly. A method that trains your brain to respond faster. A method that teaches your mouth how English really feels when it is spoken. It is simple, but it is powerful. And when you use it correctly, you will not just understand English. You will start to speak it. So before you move forward, I want you to accept one clear idea. You are not stuck because English is difficult. You are stuck because your practice has been incomplete, and now you are about to complete it. Lesson 3. What shadowing really means. Now, we are stepping into the most important part of your journey, the moment where everything starts to connect. In the last lesson, you understood something very powerful. Listening alone is not enough. Your English is not weak. Your voice is just not trained. And now the question becomes very simple and very real. How do you train your voice in a way that feels natural, effective, and actually works in real life? This is where shadowing enters your life, not as just another technique, but as a bridge between your understanding and your speaking. Let me explain this in a way that feels clear and real to you. Shadowing is not just repeating words. It is not just copying sentences like a robot. It is not memorizing grammar or translating in your head. Shadowing is something deeper and more alive. Shadowing means you listen to real English and you speak with it, not after it, but with it. You hear the rhythm, you feel the flow, you notice the emotion, and your mouth starts to move at the same time. It is like your voice is learning to dance with the language instead of walking slowly behind it. Think about this carefully. When you repeat after someone slowly, your brain has time to think. It tries to translate, it tries to correct, it tries to be perfect. But when you shadow, when you speak almost at the same time, your brain does not have time to overthink. It cannot stop to translate every word. It has to follow the sound, the rhythm, the movement. And this is exactly what we want. Because real conversation does not give you time to think about every word. Real conversation is fast, natural, and flowing. Shadowing trains you for that reality. Now let me simplify the entire shadowing process into a powerful model that you can remember easily. Listen, copy, speak, repeat, feel, natural. This is not just a sequence. This is a transformation cycle. First, you listen carefully, not just to understand meaning, but to notice how the sentence sounds. Then you copy it, not perfectly, but honestly, using your voice. Then, you speak it again, a little more smoothly, a little more confidently. Then, you repeat it again and again until something magical starts to happen. The sentence stops feeling strange. It starts to feel familiar. It starts to feel natural. And this is the moment where most learners realize something they never understood before. Fluency is not built by thinking harder. Fluency is built by repeating smarter. You are not trying to create perfect sentences every time. You are training your mouth to recognize patterns, to follow rhythm, to move without fear. This is why shadowing feels different from normal study. It feels active. It feels alive. It feels like you are doing something real. Now I want you to experience this feeling for yourself. Do not just read this. Do not just understand this. Use your voice right now. Speak slowly with me. Let your mouth move even if it feels uncomfortable at first. I am learning to speak English naturally, again, slowly, with more awareness. I am learning to speak English naturally. Now, one more time, a little smoother, a little more confident. I am learning to speak English naturally. Did you feel that small change? That is the beginning. That is how your voice wakes up. Not through silence, but through repetition. Not through fear, but through action. Now let me clear one very important misunderstanding. Shadowing is not about sounding perfect immediately. Many learners stop because they feel their pronunciation is not good enough. They think they need to fix everything before they start. But that is not how this works. Shadowing is how you fix it. You do not wait to become perfect. You start, and perfection slowly grows from repetition. Even if your voice shakes, even if your pronunciation is not clear yet, you continue. Because every repetition is teaching your mouth something new. There is another powerful benefit of shadowing that you must understand deeply. It trains your brain to think in sentences, not in single words. When you speak word by word, your speech feels slow and broken. But when you copy full sentences, your brain starts to recognize patterns. It starts to remember how ideas are expressed, not just individual words. This is why shadowing helps you stop translating. Instead of building sentences from zero, you start using sentence memory. You start feeling the language instead of constructing it. Let's try one more practice, but this time focus on the feeling, not just the words. I do not need perfect grammar to start. Again, slowly. I do not need perfect grammar to start. Now say it with more flow. I do not need perfect grammar to start. This sentence is not just practice. It is a belief. It is a mindset. And shadowing helps you build both your speaking ability and your confidence at the same time. Now imagine what happens if you do this every day. Just a few minutes, just a few sentences. Your mouth starts to recognize English movement. Your brain starts to respond faster. Your hesitation becomes smaller. Your confidence becomes stronger. And one day, without even realizing it, you respond in English without stopping, without translating, without fear. This is why shadowing is so powerful. It connects everything. Your listening improves because you pay attention to sound. Your speaking improves because you use your voice. Your confidence improves because you are taking action. And your brain becomes faster because it stops overthinking. Now I want you to remember one simple truth. Shadowing is not about copying someone else. It is about discovering your own English voice. At the beginning, you follow the speaker, but slowly, your own natural voice starts to appear, your own rhythm, your own style, your own confidence. And that is the real goal. Not to sound like someone else, but to feel natural when you speak. In the next lesson, we are going to go even deeper. You will understand how your mouth, your tongue, your breath, and your voice work together when you speak English. You will see why some sounds feel difficult and how shadowing helps you overcome them. This is where your speaking starts to feel smoother, clearer, and more controlled. But for now, I want you to take one simple action. Use your voice today, even if it is just one sentence, even if it feels small. Because every time you speak, your English becomes more alive. Lesson 4. Train your speaking muscles. Now we are moving into a part of your journey that most learners completely ignore. And because they ignore it, they stay stuck for a long time without understanding why. You already know that speaking is not only about knowledge. You already know that your voice needs training. But now you are going to understand something even deeper, something that changes how you see English forever. Speaking English is a physical skill. It is not just something that lives in your mind. It lives in your mouth, in your tongue, in your lips, in your breath, in the way your voice rises and falls. And if your body is not trained to move in English, then no matter how much you understand, your speech will always feel slow, heavy, and unnatural. This is the hidden reason behind your frustration. You try to speak, and your brain knows the sentence. But your mouth feels tight. Your tongue does not move smoothly. Your words come out slowly, sometimes unclear, sometimes broken. And in that moment, you think the problem is your English level. But the truth is different. The problem is movement. Your mouth has not practiced English movement enough. It has not repeated the rhythm, the stress, the flow, the natural music of the language. And because of that, everything feels difficult when it should feel easy. Let's understand this step by step in a simple and real way. Every language has its own rhythm. Rhythm is the natural beat of the language. It is how the language moves when people speak. English is not spoken word by word in a flat, equal way. It has a pattern. Some words are strong, some words are soft, some parts are fast, some parts are slow. When you speak without rhythm, your English sounds unnatural, even if your grammar is correct. This is why sometimes you say a correct sentence, but it still does not sound right. It is not because of the words, it is because of the rhythm. Now let's talk about stress. Stress means the words or parts of a sentence that you say with more energy. In English, not every word is equally important. Some words carry the meaning, and those words are stressed more clearly. For example, in a simple sentence like I want to learn English, the important words are want, learn, and English. These words carry the message. The other words are softer, quicker, lighter. When you learn to stress the right words, your English suddenly becomes clearer and more natural. People understand you faster, even if your vocabulary is simple. Then comes intonation, and this is where your voice becomes alive. Intonation is the rise and fall of your voice when you speak. It is how your voice moves up and down to show meaning, emotion, and intention. When you ask a question, your voice often rises. Yet, when you finish a statement, your voice usually falls. When you are surprised, your tone changes. When you are confident, your tone becomes steady. If your intonation is flat, your English sounds robotic, even if your words are correct. But when your intonation becomes natural, your speech starts to feel human, expressive, and real.
Hello, Bowery. Dan?
Now let's look at connected speech, because this is one of the biggest challenges for learners. When native speakers talk, they do not pronounce every word separately. They connect words together. Sounds link, disappear, or change. For example, want to becomes wanna, going to becomes gonna, and did you becomes didja. This is not incorrect English. This is natural English. And if your mouth is not used to these connections, your speech will sound slow and disconnected. You will speak like you are reading, not like you are communicating. And now we come to the most important concept of this lesson, the one that connects everything together, and that is muscle memory. Muscle memory means your body remembers how to do something through repetition. When you repeat a movement many times, your body learns it. You do not need to think about it anymore. It becomes automatic. This is how you learn to ride a bike, how you learn to type, how you learn to drive, and this is exactly how you learn to speak naturally. Your mouth must repeat English patterns again and again, until it does not need to think, until it just moves. This is why shadowing is so powerful, because it trains all of these things at the same time. It trains rhythm, because you follow the natural beat of the speaker. It trains stress, because you copy which words are strong. It trains intonation, because you match the rise and fall of the voice. It trains connected speech, because you hear and repeat how words join together. And most importantly, it builds muscle memory, because you repeat these patterns again and again until they feel natural. Now I want you to understand something very clearly, something that can completely change your mindset. You are not slow because you are not smart. You are slow because your mouth is still learning new movements. And just like any new movement, it feels difficult at the beginning. But difficulty is not failure. Difficulty is the sign that you are learning something new. Every time your mouth struggles, it is growing. Every time your voice feels uncomfortable, it is adapting. And every time you repeat a sentence, you are building something inside you that will stay with you. This is the psychological truth that you must carry with you from this lesson. You are not trying to be perfect. You are training your body. And training takes time, repetition, and patience. But it also brings results, real results that you can feel. Because one day, you will say a sentence, and it will come out smoothly. You will not stop. You will not hesitate. And in that moment, you will realize that something has changed inside you. So from today, do not just think of English as something you learn. Think of it as something you practice with your whole body. Your voice is not your enemy. Your voice is your tool. And the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Lesson 5. Stop translating first. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest reasons your English becomes slow when you speak. It is not always grammar. It is not always vocabulary. It is not always pronunciation. Many times, the real problem is translation. You hear English, then your brain quickly goes back to your own language. You think in your own language. You search for the English words. You try to arrange them in the correct order. And then you finally speak. But by that time, the conversation has already moved forward. The other person is waiting. Your heart starts beating faster. Your confidence goes down. And the sentence that looked easy in your mind suddenly feels heavy in your mouth. This is why many learners say, I know English, but I cannot reply fast. The problem is not that they know nothing. The problem is that they are taking the long road before speaking. Translation feels normal at first because it gives your brain support. When you are a beginner, your native language feels like a bridge. It helps you understand meaning. It helps you feel safe. But if you depend on that bridge forever, you will never learn to walk directly in English. You will always stop in the middle. You will always check every word. You will always ask yourself, is this correct? And when you are speaking with a real person, this checking becomes pressure. Real conversation does not wait for perfect translation. Real conversation needs movement. It needs response. It needs your voice to come out, even if the sentence is simple. This is why shadowing is so powerful. Shadowing does not give your brain too much time to translate. When you listen and copy immediately, your brain has to follow English directly. It hears a sentence as a whole sound, not as separate words waiting to be translated. It feels the rhythm, the stress, the movement, and the meaning together. Slowly, your brain learns a new habit. Instead of hearing English and going back to your own language first, it begins to stay in English. It begins to respond in English. It begins to trust English patterns. And this is where real fluency begins. Let me explain this with a simple example. If you hear the sentence, I want to improve my speaking, a translating brain may stop at every word. I means this. Want means this. Improve means this. Speaking means this. Then it tries to build the sentence again, as thing. But a fluent brain does not do that. A fluent brain feels the whole sentence as one useful pattern. I want to improve my speaking. That pattern becomes familiar. You can use it again with small changes. I want to improve my pronunciation. I want to improve my confidence. I want to improve my listening. This is how spoken English grows, not word by word only, but pattern by pattern. That is why you must stop practicing English only as single words. Single words are useful, but they are not enough for speaking. Real speaking happens in chunks. A chunk is a small group of words that naturally belong together. For example, I want to, I need to, I'm trying to, can you help me? I don't understand. Let me think. And that sounds good. These chunks are gold for speaking because they give your mouth ready-made patterns. When you repeat chunks through shadowing, your mouth starts to remember them. Then in real conversation, you do not need to build everything from zero. The sentence begins by itself. Now I want you to feel this slowly. Say this with me, word by word, and let your mouth become comfortable. I want to speak English naturally, again, slowly and calmly. I want to speak English naturally. Now say it as a chunk, smoother and more natural. I want to speak English naturally. Feel the difference. When you say every word separately, it feels slow. When you say it as a chunk, it starts to move. This is the difference between word-by-word thinking and sentence feeling. Word-by-word thinking makes speech heavy. Sentence feeling makes speech lighter. Many learners make the mistake of trying to translate perfect sentences before speaking. But fluent speakers do not build every sentence like a puzzle. They use patterns they have heard and repeated many times. They feel what sounds natural because their brain has experienced it again and again. This is what shadowing gives you. It gives your brain experience. It gives your mouth patterns. It gives your voice movement. And when these three things work together, your speaking becomes faster. Now let's practice another slow sentence. Speak with me gently. I do not translate every word anymore. Again with calm confidence. I do not translate every word anymore. Now say it with a little more flow. I do not translate every word anymore. This sentence is not only a sentence, it is a new direction for your English. You are telling your brain that you are ready to stop walking the long road. You are ready to meet English directly. But remember, stopping translation does not happen in one day. You should not force yourself or feel bad when translation comes back. It will come back many times because your brain is used to it. That is normal. Your job is not to fight your brain. Your job is to train it. Every time you shadow a sentence, you gently teach your brain, stay in English. Follow the sound. Trust the pattern. Over time, the translation becomes weaker and the English response becomes stronger. This is why emotion matters too. When you shadow, do not repeat like a machine. Repeat with meaning. Repeat like you are really saying something. If the sentence is confident, sound confident. If the sentence is calm, sound calm. If the sentence is excited, put energy in your voice. Emotion helps your brain remember language faster, because language is not just words. Language is feeling, intention, and connection. Now imagine yourself in a real conversation. Someone asks, "Why are you learning English?" Before, your brain might translate slowly, but after practicing sentence chunks, your mouth can answer faster. "I'm learning English because I want better opportunities." This sentence does not need to be perfect. It needs to be alive. It needs to move. And the more you shadow sentences like this, the more naturally they will come out. So the main message of this lesson is simple. Do not train your brain to translate. Train your brain to respond. Do not practice only words. Practice sentence chunks. Do not wait for perfect grammar. Build familiar patterns. Shadowing helps you do this, because it forces your brain and mouth to stay close to real English. It teaches you to feel English directly, not through another language first. And here is the powerful truth I want you to remember. Your fluency will not grow when every word becomes perfect. Your fluency will grow when your response becomes faster, clearer, and more natural. From today, when you hear English, do not only ask, "What does this word mean?" Also ask, "How does this sentence move?" Because when you learn the movement, your mouth starts following. And when your mouth starts following, your silent English finally begins to speak. Lesson 6. The correct shadowing method. Now we arrive at the moment where everything becomes practical, clear, real. Until now, you have understood the problem, you have understood why your speaking feels slow, and you have understood how shadowing can change that. But understanding alone is not enough. You need a system. You need a method that you can follow every day without confusion. Because without a clear method, even a powerful technique can fail. And today, I am going to give you that method in the simplest and most effective way, so you can start training your English voice immediately. Let's begin with something very important. Many learners try shadowing, but they do it randomly. They listen to long videos, they repeat a few sentences, then they move to another video, and they think they are practicing. But after a few days, nothing changes. They feel disappointed. They think shadowing does not work. But the truth is not that shadowing does not work. The truth is that they are not using it correctly. Shadowing is not about doing more. It is about doing it right. So here is the correct system, step by step, simple and powerful. You do not need anything complicated. You only need your voice, your attention, and a short piece of English. Step 1 is choosing the right audio. This is where many learners make their first mistake. They choose long speeches, fast conversations, or difficult content. That creates frustration. Instead, choose something short, something you can repeat deeply. 30 seconds to 1 minute is perfect. It can be a small story, a few sentences, or a simple conversation. The goal is not to cover more content. The goal is to master one small piece. Step 2 is listening without speaking. This is your preparation. Listen carefully. Do not rush. Do not speak yet. Just listen and feel the sentence. Notice the rhythm, the tone, the speed, the emotion. Ask yourself, how does this sentence sound? Not only what does it mean? This step connects your ears to the natural flow of English. Step 3 is understanding the sentence. If you have subtitles or a script, read it once. Make sure you understand the general meaning. You do not need to understand every word perfectly. Focus on the message. If you stop for every word, you will break the flow. Remember, your goal is speaking, not perfect translation. Step 4 is slow repetition. This is where your voice begins to wake up. You will repeat the sentence slowly, word by word, with awareness. You are not trying to be fast. You are trying to be clear and comfortable. Let's try this together.
I am practicing English every day. Again, slowly, with attention. I am practicing English every day. Feel how your mouth moves. Feel the space between the words. This is the foundation.
Step 5 is shadowing with the speaker. Now you move from slow control to natural flow. You listen again, and this time you speak with the speaker, not after, but with. Your voice may feel behind at first. That is okay. Stay with the sound. Follow the rhythm. Do not stop. Even if you miss a word, continue. This is where your brain learns to respond faster. Step 6 is repeating the same small part multiple times. This is where real improvement happens. Many learners think repetition is boring, but repetition is where transformation lives. When you repeat the same sentence again and again, something changes. At first, it feels difficult. Then it feels familiar. Then it starts to feel natural. And finally, it becomes automatic. Step 7 is recording your voice. This step builds awareness. When you listen to yourself, you notice things you cannot hear while speaking. You may notice your rhythm is different. You may notice your stress is unclear. Do not judge yourself. Just observe. This is how you improve faster. Now I want to tell you one golden rule that will change your results completely. Quality is more important than quantity. One short paragraph practiced deeply for 3 days is more powerful than 10 videos watched once. Do not chase more content. Master one small piece. This is how your brain builds strong patterns. Let's practice one more sentence slowly, then with flow.
I can improve my speaking step by step. Again, I can improve my speaking step by step.
Now say it naturally. I can improve my speaking step by step. Feel the difference. The first version trains control. The second version builds flow. Both are important. Now let me address something very real. At the beginning, this method may feel strange. You may feel slow. You may feel that your voice is not good enough. You may even feel a little uncomfortable hearing yourself. This is completely normal. This is not a sign of failure. This is a sign that you are stepping out of silent learning and entering active speaking. Growth always feels a little uncomfortable in the beginning. This is where your mindset becomes very important. Do not expect perfection. Expect progress. Do not focus on sounding like a native speaker immediately. Focus on becoming more comfortable with your own English voice. Every repetition is moving you forward, even if you cannot see it immediately. Now imagine doing this for 5 minutes every day. Not 1 hour, not something heavy, just 5 focused minutes. Your mouth starts remembering patterns. Your brain becomes faster. Your hesitation becomes smaller. And one day, you speak a sentence, and it comes out smoothly, without effort. That moment is not luck. That moment is the result of correct practice. This is why this method works. It is simple, but it is consistent. It is small, but it is powerful. And it is something you can do anywhere. You can practice while sitting, while walking, while resting. Your voice becomes your tool, and your practice becomes part of your daily life. Before we move to the next lesson, I want you to make a small commitment. Not a big promise. Not something difficult. Just a simple decision. You will practice one short audio today. You will listen, repeat, shadow, and repeat again. That is all. Because when you start doing, everything changes. And remember this clearly. You do not need perfect English to start speaking. You need the courage to use your voice and the discipline to repeat the right way. Lesson 7. Common shadowing mistakes. Now that you understand the method, now that you know how to practice correctly, there is one more thing that can completely change your results. Because even with a powerful method, many learners still stay stuck. Not because they are not trying, but because they are making small mistakes again and again without realizing it. And these small mistakes slowly become big problems. They waste your time, they reduce your confidence, and they make you feel like you are not improving, even when you are practicing. So in this lesson, we are going to uncover these mistakes clearly and honestly, not to criticize you, but to protect you. Because once you see these patterns, you can break them. And when you break them, your progress becomes faster, smoother, and much more real. The first mistake is very common, and it may feel familiar to you. You listen, but you do not speak. You watch a shadowing video. You follow the sentences in your mind. You understand everything, but your mouth stays closed. It feels like you are learning, but you are still in passive mode. And this is exactly where the problem begins, because shadowing is not listening practice. It is speaking practice. If your voice is not involved, your speaking system is not growing. This is why I want you to remember this simple truth. If your mouth is silent, your progress will be slow. Your voice must be active. Your voice must be part of your practice every single time. The second mistake is choosing content that is too difficult. Many learners think that harder content means faster progress. They choose fast conversations, complex vocabulary, or long speeches. And what happens? They feel lost. They cannot follow the speed. They cannot repeat clearly. They feel frustrated. And slowly, they lose motivation. But shadowing is not about showing how much you can understand. It is about building control. And control comes from clarity, not confusion. So always choose content that feels slightly challenging, but still manageable. You should feel effort, but not stress. You should feel focus, but not pressure. The third mistake is trying to sound perfect immediately. This is a silent trap that stops many learners. They repeat a sentence, and then they judge themselves. My pronunciation is not good. I don't sound natural. This is not correct. And because of this judgment, they stop repeating. But shadowing is not about perfect performance. It is about continuous practice. At the beginning, your voice will not sound perfect. That is normal. That is expected. Perfection is not the starting point. It is the result of repetition. So instead of asking, "Did I sound perfect?" ask, "Did I use my voice?" Because that is what matters most. The fourth mistake is repeating without emotion. This one is very important. Many learners repeat sentences like machines, flat voice, no feeling, no energy, just words. But real language is not flat. Real language has emotion. It has rhythm. It has movement. When you repeat without emotion, your brain does not connect deeply with the sentence. But when you repeat with feeling, your brain remembers faster. So when you practice, do not just say the sentence. Feel the sentence. If the sentence is confident, speak with confidence. If it is calm, speak calmly. If it is strong, give it strength. This makes your practice alive. The fifth mistake is practicing too much content and mastering nothing. You watch one video today, another video tomorrow, then a different video the next day. You keep moving forward, but nothing stays with you. This feels like progress, but it is not deep progress. Real improvement comes from repetition of the same material. When you repeat the same sentence many times, your brain builds strong patterns. So instead of asking, "What is the next video?" ask, "Have I mastered this one?" Because mastery creates confidence. The sixth mistake is ignoring rhythm and focusing only on words. You repeat the words correctly, but your speech still feels unnatural. Why? Because the rhythm is missing. English is not just about correct words. It is about how those words move together. If you do not follow the rhythm, your speech will sound broken. So when you shadow, listen to how the sentence flows. Where does it speed up? Where does it slow down? Which words are strong? Which words are soft? This awareness changes everything. The seventh mistake is quitting too early. This is one of the biggest reasons learners stay stuck. They try shadowing for one day, maybe 2 days, and then they stop because they do not feel immediate results. But speaking is not a one-day transformation. It is a process. It is repetition over time. At first, the progress is small and quiet. You may not notice it immediately. But if you continue, those small changes grow. And one day, you feel it clearly. Your voice becomes smoother. Your sentences become faster. Your confidence becomes stronger. But this only happens if you stay consistent. Now I want you to feel something important. Say this slowly with me. I will not quit. Early. Again. I will not quit. Early. Now say it with more confidence. I will not quit early. This is not just a sentence. This is your commitment. This is your mindset. Because consistency is the secret behind fluency. Not talent, not intelligence, not luck. Consistency. And here is the psychological truth that will guide you forward. Bad shadowing creates noise. Smart shadowing creates fluency. The difference is not in the technique. The difference is in how you use it. When you avoid these mistakes, your practice becomes clear, focused, and effective. You start to feel progress, not just hope for it. So from today, I want you to practice with awareness. Use your voice. Choose the right level. Forget perfection. Add emotion. Repeat deeply. Follow the rhythm. And most importantly, stay consistent. Because when you do these things together, shadowing is no longer just a method. It becomes your path to real speaking. And in the next lesson, something even more powerful is waiting for you. You will not only understand shadowing, you will experience it. You will speak. You will feel your voice moving. You will feel your English becoming real. Lesson 8. Real shadowing practice. Now we have reached the part where you stop only understanding and start doing. This lesson is not only information. This is practice. This is the moment where your mouth joins the lesson. This is the moment where your voice becomes active. Because if you only listen to this video, you will understand shadowing. But if you speak with this video, you will feel shadowing. And feeling it is much more powerful than only knowing it. So before we begin, I want you to relax your shoulders, take a calm breath, and remind yourself that nobody is judging you here. This is your safe space. This is your speaking gym. You are not here to sound perfect. You are here to train your voice. Barry and Munch. Many learners wait for confidence before they speak. But confidence does not come before speaking. Confidence comes after speaking. It grows when you use your voice again and again, even when your voice feels weak, even when your pronunciation is not perfect, even when you feel a little nervous. So right now, do not wait to feel ready. Start with the voice you have today. Your voice may be soft. It may be slow. It may feel strange. But it is yours. And today we are going to train it. First, we will use slow sentences. These sentences are for control. Do not rush them. Say them with me slowly and clearly. Let your mouth feel every word. I am learning to speak English with confidence. Again, slowly. I am learning to speak English with confidence. Now one more time, but with a little more belief in your voice. I am learning to speak English with confidence. Good. Now say it naturally. I am learning to speak English with confidence. Feel the difference. The slow version gives you control. The natural version gives you flow. Both are important. When you train slowly, your mouth learns clearly. When you speak naturally, your mouth learns movement. Now we will practice a sentence that many learners need to believe deeply. Say it slowly with me. I do not need perfect grammar to start speaking. Again, I do not need perfect grammar to start speaking. Now say it with natural confidence. I do not need perfect grammar to start speaking. This sentence is important because perfection is one of the biggest reasons learners stay silent. They wait until their grammar is perfect, their pronunciation is perfect, their vocabulary is perfect. And because of that waiting, they lose months and years. But speaking grows through speaking. You improve while speaking, not before speaking. Now let's move into sentence feeling. Remember, we are not only saying words, we are training patterns. When you repeat these sentences, feel them as whole ideas. Do not translate every word. Let the sentence move as one piece. Every day, my mouth becomes more comfortable with English. Again, slowly and clearly. Every day, my mouth becomes more comfortable with English. Now say it naturally. Every day my mouth becomes more comfortable with English. This is how shadowing builds muscle memory. The sentence enters your ears, moves through your mouth, and slowly becomes familiar to your brain. At first, it feels like practice. Later, it becomes part of you. Now let's practice a sentence that connects directly to your real pain. I can understand English, and now I am training myself to speak it. Again, with calm energy. I can understand English, and now I am training myself to speak it. Now say it naturally. I can understand English, and now I am training myself to speak it. This is your transformation sentence. You are not only a listener anymore. You are not only a reader anymore. You are becoming a speaker. That identity is important because your brain follows the story you tell yourself. If you keep saying, I can not speak, your body becomes afraid. But when you say, I am training myself to speak, you give your brain direction. Now we will move to real conversation lines. These are the kinds of sentences you can use in daily life. So speak them with meaning. Imagine you are talking to a real person. Do not speak like you are reading a page. Speak like you are sharing your life. What are you doing to improve your English? Now repeat it naturally. What are you doing to improve your English? Again, with curiosity. What are you doing to improve your English? Now answer with me slowly. I practice speaking every day, even when I am alone. Again, I practice speaking every day, even when I am alone. Now say it naturally. I practice speaking every day, even when I am alone. This sentence is simple but powerful. Many learners think they need another person to speak English. A speaking partner is helpful, but your voice can start today, even alone in your room, even walking outside, even while doing small daily tasks. You can train your mouth before the real conversation arrives. Now let's practice the emotional truth of learning. Sometimes, I feel nervous, but I keep going. Again, slowly. Sometimes, I feel nervous, but I keep going. Now say it naturally. Sometimes I feel nervous, but I keep going. This is real. You do not need to pretend that learning English is always easy. Sometimes it is uncomfortable. Sometimes you feel slow. Sometimes you compare yourself with others. But the learner who keeps going becomes stronger than the learner who waits for perfect confidence. Now repeat this line with strength. The perfect time never comes, so I start now. Again, the perfect time never comes, so I start now. Now say it naturally. The perfect time never comes, so I start now. This sentence should stay with you. Many learners say, I will speak when I am ready. But readiness is built by action. You become ready by starting. Now let's do a short shadowing round with flow. I will give you a small paragraph. First, read it in your mind. Then speak it out loud. Do not worry if it is not perfect. Just stay with the rhythm. I am learning English step by step. I may not speak perfectly today, but I am improving. Every sentence I repeat makes my voice stronger. Every small practice gives me more confidence. I am not silent anymore. I am training my mouth to speak. Now let's slow it down together. I am learning English step by step. I may not speak perfectly today, but I am improving. Every sentence I repeat makes my voice stronger. Every small practice gives me more confidence. I am not silent anymore. I am training my mouth to speak. Now say the same paragraph naturally, with confidence. I am learning English step by step. I may not speak perfectly today, but I am improving. Every sentence I repeat makes my voice stronger. Every small practice gives me more confidence. I am not silent anymore. I am training my mouth to speak. Very good. That is real practice. That is not passive learning. That is your English becoming active. You are proving to your brain that English is not only something you understand, it is something you can produce. Now let's finish this practice with 3 strong identity sentences. These sentences are not magic. They are reminders. They guide your mind and your voice together. I am not only an English learner, I am becoming an English speaker. Again, slowly. I am not only an English learner, I am becoming an English speaker. Now, naturally, I am not only an English learner, I am becoming an English speaker. I use my voice because my voice needs practice. Again, I use my voice because my voice needs practice. Now, naturally, I am use my voice because my voice needs practice. Small, daily practice can change my confidence. Again, small, daily practice can change my confidence. Now, naturally, small, daily practice can change my confidence. If you spoke these sentences with me, you did something important today. You did not just watch, you practiced. You used your voice. You trained your mouth. And even if it felt simple, it was not small. This is how speaking begins. Not with perfect grammar, not with big words, not with waiting. It begins with one honest sentence spoken out loud. So remember this lesson clearly. Action creates belief. When you speak, your brain starts believing that speaking is possible. When you repeat, your mouth starts trusting English movement. When you continue, your confidence grows naturally. And this is why shadowing works. It does not only teach you English, it teaches you to stop being afraid of your own voice. In the next lesson, we will turn this practice into a daily routine, so you know exactly what to do tomorrow, the next day, and every day after that. Because one powerful practice is good, but a simple daily routine can change everything. Lesson 9. Your speaking routine. Now we have reached the final lesson of this shadowing masterclass. And this is where everything must become part of your real life. You have learned why your mouth becomes silent. You have learned why listening alone is not enough. You have learned what shadowing really means, how it trains your speaking muscles, how it helps you stop translating, how to use the correct method, what mistakes to avoid, and how real practice feels when you open your mouth and speak. But now I want to tell you something very important. A powerful lesson can motivate you today, but a simple routine can change you forever. Motivation gives you energy for a moment. Routine gives you progress for a lifetime. And if you want your English to move from your head to your mouth, you need a routine that is simple enough to follow and strong enough to work. Many learners fail because they make their practice too big. They say, "From tomorrow, I will study English for 2 hours every day." Then tomorrow comes, life gets busy, they feel tired, and the plan disappears. After a few days, they feel guilty. Then they stop again. This cycle repeats for months and years. But real progress does not need a perfect life. Real progress needs a small practice that you can repeat, even on a normal busy day. That is why your shadowing routine must be simple, realistic, and easy to continue. You are not building a show. You are building a habit. Here is your daily shadowing routine. First, spend 2 minutes listening. Choose a short audio, a small conversation, or a short paragraph. Do not speak yet. Just listen. Notice the meaning, the rhythm, the stress, and the emotion. Let English enter your ears naturally. Then spend 5 minutes pausing and repeating. Listen to one sentence, pause, and repeat it clearly. Do not rush. Give your mouth time to understand the movement. After that, spend 5 minutes speaking with the speaker. This is real shadowing. Try to match the rhythm, the tone, the speed, and the feeling. If you miss a word, continue. Do not stop because of one mistake. Finally, spend 3 minutes recording and reviewing your voice. Listen gently. Notice one thing you did well and one thing you can improve. That is enough. You do not need to criticize yourself. You only need to learn. This routine can take only 15 minutes, but if you do it with focus, it can be more powerful than 1 hour of passive watching. Because in these 15 minutes, your ears, brain, and mouth are working together. You are not just receiving English, you are producing it. You are not only understanding sentences, you are training your body to speak them. This is how silent English becomes spoken English. Now let's make this routine even clearer with a weekly plan. In the first 3 days, practice very short sentences. Do not make it difficult. Use simple lines like, I am improving my English, I speak a little better every day, and I can practice even when I am alone. These short sentences build safety. They tell your mouth, English is not dangerous. From day 4 to day 7, practice one short paragraph. Repeat the same paragraph every day. Do not run after new material. Let one paragraph become familiar. Let your mouth know it deeply. When your mouth repeats the same pattern many times, that pattern begins to feel natural. In week 2, start recording your voice more seriously. Choose one short audio and record yourself shadowing it. Then listen to the original audio and your recording. Do not compare with hate. Compare with curiosity. Ask, where is my rhythm different? Which words are not clear? Where did I sound better than yesterday? This kind of review builds awareness without destroying confidence. In week 3, start shadowing real conversations. Use short dialogues about daily life, work, travel, food, family, goals, and feelings. This helps you prepare for real speaking situations. In week 4, take the sentences you have shadowed and use them in your own life. This is very important. Shadowing is not only for repeating, it is for living. If you shadow the sentence, I'm trying to improve my English, then use it when someone asks about your goal. If you shadow the sentence, let me think for a second, then use it when you need time in a conversation. This is how practice becomes confidence. You hear the sentence, you repeat the sentence, you shadow the sentence. Then one day, you use the sentence. And when you use it in real life, your brain says, I know this. I have practiced this before. That feeling reduces fear. That feeling builds trust. That feeling makes you speak with more calmness. Now I want you to remember the biggest truth of this whole masterclass. Fluency is not magic. Fluency is repetition, patience, and voice training. It is not something that appears suddenly because you watched one perfect video. It grows because you show up again and again. Some days, your voice will feel strong. Some days, your voice will feel tired. Some days, you will speak clearly. Some days, you will struggle with simple words. That is normal. Do not judge your whole journey by one difficult day. A bad practice day is still better than a silent day. There will be moments when you feel progress is slow. In those moments, remember where you started. You started as someone who understood English, but felt silent when speaking. You started with hesitation, fear, and overthinking. But now you know the truth. Your mouth can be trained. Your voice can become stronger. Your brain can stop translating so much. Your confidence can grow through action. You are not waiting for fluency anymore. You are building it. And this is the identity shift I want you to carry with you after this video. You are not just an English learner. You are an English speaker in training. That sentence matters. A learner only collects knowledge, but a speaker uses the language. A learner waits to be ready, but a speaker practices before feeling ready. A learner hides behind silence, but a speaker gives the voice a chance to grow. From today, I want you to see yourself differently. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are training. So here is your final commitment. Every day, choose one small piece of English. Listen to it. Repeat it. Shadow it. Record yourself. Use one sentence from it in your own life. That is the path. Simple, realistic, and powerful. If you do this for 30 days, you will not become perfect, but you will become different. You will feel more comfortable with your voice. You will speak faster than before. You will notice sentences coming out more easily. You will stop fearing small mistakes so much. And most importantly, you will start trusting yourself. Before we end, I want you to take a breath and feel proud of yourself. Not because you are perfect, not because your English is finished, but because you are no longer only watching from the outside. You are stepping into the language. You are using your voice. You are turning your silent English into spoken English. So today, after this video, do not just close the screen and forget everything. Take one sentence and shadow it. Just one sentence. Let that sentence be your first step. Then tomorrow, take another. And the next day another. Small steps will build your speaking life. If you are ready to train your English voice, write in the comments, I will shadow today. Say it not for me, but for yourself. Let it be your promise that you are not staying silent anymore. Keep speaking, keep shadowing, and keep believing in your voice, because your English is already inside you, and now it is time to let it come out. Before you go, I want you to pause for a second and feel what just happened. You didn't just watch a lesson. You used your voice. You trained your mouth. You took one real step forward. And that matters more than anything else. Most people stay silent and keep waiting for the perfect moment. But you didn't wait today. You showed up. You spoke. And this is exactly how fluency begins. Not in one big moment, but in small, honest actions like this. Now, the only thing that matters is this. Do it again tomorrow, even if it's just 5 minutes, even if your voice feels slow. Keep going, because every time you speak, your English becomes more real, more natural, more yours. So be proud of yourself today. You are not stuck anymore. You are moving forward. Comment below, I spoke today. Let it be your reminder that you are no longer silent. And remember, your voice is not the problem. It is your power. Thanks for this video. I will see you in the next video.